Trumpet sounds of golden harps. I saw in a Zion these crystal balls of lightning, thunder in different sorts. 420 I shines around these. Trumpet sounds of golden harps. I saw in a Zion these crystal balls of lightning, thunder in different sorts. 420 I shines around these parts. Trumpet sounds of golden harps. I saw in a Zion these crystal balls of lightning, thunder in different sort. 420 I shines around this part. It was very cloudy, earthquake over the north and the south side. Seraphim, thrones and a ark. I'm a melanin in a my cerebral spark. Eyes behold King Selassie, the almighty monarch with dominion, double-edged sword well sharp. I read them sailing a Vatican art from far out. Wailing souls are rotting. Don't fall in a valley of the bloodbath. Trumpet sounds of golden harps. I saw in a Zion these crystal balls of lightning, thunder in different sort. 420 I shines around these parts. Trumpet sounds of golden harps. I saw in a Zion these crystal balls of lightning, thunder in different sort. 420 I shines around these parts. I know arrogance, all of the folly get all those sorrow dance. Only rejoice in thoughts, good memory in the files of a cash. Angelical food served in a calabash. Black jungle, Maxigan, Aquadash, Sacanalo. Keep a eye in dark one movement. Plants of the highest of ash. All over the premises, the mineral a wash at you. Trumpet sounds of golden harps. I saw in a Zion these crystal balls of lightning, thunder in different sort. 420 I shines around these parts. Trumpet sounds of golden harps. I saw in a Zion these crystal balls of lightning, thunder in different sort. 420 I shines around these parts. The green grass turning parts of my ras. Enter the great seas of that liquid brass. Gold scepter, place where the liquid stars ancestors seated around and a laugh. Such joyful feeling, the smoke no cough. I licking Rastafari around. Trumpet sound. I licking Rastafari around. Trumpet sound. And then me hear when the cherubim sound, hear them sounding. Trumpet sounds of golden harps. I saw in a Zion these crystal balls of lightning, thunder in different sort. 420 I shines around these parts. Trumpet sounds of golden harps. I saw in a Zion these crystal balls of lightning, thunder in different sort. 420 I shines around these parts. And it was cloudy, earthquake over the north and the south side. Seraphim throne on the ark. I'm a melanin in a my cerebral spark. Eyes behold King Selassie, the almighty monarch with dominion, double-edged sword well sharp. And he heard them, bring them up in a Vatican art. So far out, wailing souls are rotting. Don't get caught up in a the bloodbath of the trumpet sounds of golden harps. I saw in a Zion these crystal balls of lightning, thunder in different sort. 420 I shines around these parts. Trumpet sounds of golden harps. I saw in a Zion these crystal balls of lightning, thunder in different sort. 420 I shines around these parts.
Reggae.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Yes, sir.
Much love, honor, and
All
respect
right.
to everyone in the YouTube virtual verse. So,
Hey.
Ross Ben, back with my good forward with my good brethren, Ross Naim. We in the crystal vaults of the infinite treasures.
Bruh, 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 bruh.
Yes, my good brethren,
One and
Ross
only.
Naim. What you got for the people today, Star?
Hey man, we embarking upon, what is it, episode 2?
Episode 2. This is the deuce.
Episode
The
2.
deuce is wild.
The deuces. The wild hair was on me, like, man, we need to do it on 2/22. But just through the time, that date wasn't most ideal. This is where they say man's plans ever stand to be trumped by the designs of the Most High. So
right, what is today?
Today is I think today is the 20th or the 21st. I think today's the 20th.
Yeah, well,
Friday was
still
the
the
17th.
double deuce.
We still got the double deuce up in there. You're right.
And with the 2023. Right.
There you go. There you
2/20, 2023.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, man, we still catching that frequency.
We still on a mathematical current. We rolling with the current, you know?
Yes, true.
Yeah. But this one, we had a very special offering today as it pertains to history, mystery, and prophecy stones.
Prophecy stones, dang.
Prophecy
I like
stones.
that. That's going to be the title of today.
Yeah.
History, mystery, and prophecy stones.
Yeah.
I love that.
That part. Yeah, man. But you know how we do, man. Look, this thing ain't no self-serving mission. So whenever we come in with these offerings, for them that know, I just have to know it is our ancestors, the angels, and those heavenly forces, the ascended masters that continue to encourage us to come forward with these works, especially on an episode like this. Because, these prophecy stones are one of the critical alchemical keys to stay connected with folks that you can't taste, touch, smell, or hear with your tangible senses, you know? Yeah, so we do. Let's get it right. Hey, with your permission, I'm going to go ahead and block this prayer. Get the frequency on proper. Glory unto word, glory unto sound, glory unto power, glory unto the Iwa, glory unto the Holy One of creation, Emperor Haile Selassie Jah, Rastafari, King of kings, Lord of lords, conquering Lion of the tribe of Judah, elect of thyself, light of the world, Haile Selassie. Hey, we give thanks for this day, for the many blessings, the provisions, the love, the guidance, and the protection all around about Ayanai. We're thankful for this day. We pray it be a strengthening unto we, body, mind, and soul, the whole of we, body, mind, and soul. We're giving thanks for our ancestors, for many generations of blood, sweat, and tears. Give us strength in these times to stand in the light of the Most High. We're giving thanks for we elders, their wise minds, knowledge, and understanding, guiding I and I through these times. We give thanks for the youth. Their life and their love is the light and the hope for redemption, liberation, repatriation in the sight of the Most High. We give thanks for I and I divine unions. It is the foundation upon which I and I stand in the name of the Most High, Jah, Rastafari.
Yes, sir.
Empress Omega, Empress Menen, Ashe, Amen, Sila.
Yes, I give thanks. Words, sound, and power is important, man. Yeah, man, we got to block
Get the frequency right.
Yeah, the angelic.
Frequency right.
Yeah, we got to get on that angelic frequency when we be studying these prophecy stones, man. So give thanks.
Hey.
Give thanks.
Hey, I'm gnawing at the bit, bro. When I start diving forward in, because I've done my research on these things, but I just wanted to make sure, I got my things tight and you speak prophetic. The more I'm going into these things, man, the way they connect us alchemically to those higher realms and those folks who exist within those higher realms, steadily trying to give us insight and downloads. Come on, man. Oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah. So
Prophecy stones
these are the
are
prophecy
otherworldly.
stones. So just to start with, they ain't nothing you ain't like nothing you ever seen.
Nothing you've ever
Their
seen,
look
King.
is just what? What is this thing? We never seen nothing like this thing before.
Uh,
And they come out of Kemet, they come out of Egypt, you know, and then
yeah.
some of the most ancient iron on planet Earth right now. You know, the most ancient.
What are they? What are they alchemically, Ross? And how do they form? Don't they gotta? There's a term used for that type of formation, right?
Right. They're a pseudo pyro. What will you tell it, Star? 'Cause
Pseudomorphs,
I don't
King.
want to get it wrong. I don't want to jumble it up. It's a pseudo pyromorph?
Pseudomorphs.
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 Yes.
Pseudomorphs. And what
Break
are
down the science of the
pseudomorphs?
pseudomorph.
All right, I had to dive in. I had already known it, but every time we dive into the research, we get a clearer understanding,
Yes.
right? So it says sometimes minerals occur in unusual for them crystal forms because most crystals have what they call a common form that they grow in, you know. But every now and then you'll have, say, like, let's use an example of like a seashell that is calcium rich, and over so much time, maybe the calcium is dissolved and it leaves a vacuum. The
Right.
calcium's gone. And
Right.
here comes some crystal quartz that take up the shape of the shell, the
Of
exact shape
silica.
of that ammonite, right, is now a silica form. That's a prime example of a pseudomorph. So
So most people
prophecy
experience
stones,
that as petrified wood is a pseudomorph, right?
petrified wood is a pseudomorph where the carbon rich wood is replaced by silica rich, quartz
Right.
in the shape
Right.
and the
So y'all
form
could
of
imagine a piece of wood that is in like a bog that has a lot of silica as a part of the biochemistry, right? What Ross is saying is the carbon in that log will get leached out and the silica in that environment will get leached in.
fill
So,
the void,
right.
fill the
So
void, right?
pseudomorph, if I remember, pseudo means uh kind of, almost, and morph means change or form, excuse me. Morph means
Yep,
form, right?
morphosis form. Yes,
So it's it's kind of a change in the form. The larger rock or larger specimen kind of maintains the same shape that it's had, but the chemistry of it is changed. Is so that's the pseudomorph.
yes,
All right.
that's
Yes,
a
sir.
pseudomorph from, and the prop stones qualify as pseudomorphs um, because they are. What happens with iron, right? Iron will crystallize. Iron will crystallize into some very sacred geometry. Whether you're talking about magnetite or just crystallized iron, it'll crystallize into one of those platonic solids, particularly the octahedron, you know. Um,
True.
but iron is subject to other elements. Iron
Yes.
is exposed to moisture over time, it will oxidize. And when iron is oxidized as a result of being exposed to moisture, we get another
Rust.
element, what they call rust, right? But rust will also crystallize if you give it enough time. Limonite is rust, and limonite will crystallize if you give it enough time, like other elements.
Right.
And so hence prophecy stones are actually a version of what they would technically call limonite after pyrite.
Yes.
And it may not have been pyrite, it might have been something else, it might have been iron crystals, but either case, iron is clearly present because the limonite is what is the crystallized uh, uh, substance that is the
Yes.
structure of prophecy stones, and they are pseudomorphs, meaning that they have, through whatever alchemical process, in this case oxidation, they've replaced the form of the original mineral, which is in your left hand, Roz, the
It's
pyrite, and
pyrite.
turned it into
Th-
something and turned it into something new in the form of limonite after pyrite.
right.
And I got a new one for you, man. I didn't realize this until I was doing this research today, man. What they got another name for limonite after pyrite,
Huh.
depending upon where you find it.
Huh.
Call it Z stone, you
Z.
know?
Z like just
Z
the
like zoom, Z like zebra, Z like yeah,
just the letter Z.
just the letter Z. They call it Z stone. And it hit me because boom, here go the image. As I'm looking through to kind of just tighten up this prophecy stone episode, I see this sample of a mineral that looked just like some of what I've just categorized as prophecy stones, because you can clearly see they are pseudomorphs that grew out of some previous iron rich mineral,
Right.
or crystal formation,
So
you
can
know?
I just toss something in real quick while I got these up?
Yes, free
So
up.
uh right, this is pyrite. This is a very common ore of iron. This is the
Iron
phosphate.
sulfide.
Now, what's significant? You know, iron can what usually will make iron oxidize is exposure to water, exposure to moisture. So
Yes,
iron in nature, it's more often than not, it's going to rust. And we know usually if iron rusts, it's going to decompose. You know what I mean?
right,
It's going to like fall apart.
right.
So it's in the deserts of North Africa. This specimen is actually from Morocco, right?
Mm,
But how the prophecy stones are from Kemet, from Egypt. It's in these deserts where they ain't getting exposed to a lot of water that iron is able to fossilize, go through that pseudomorph process. So this is like ancient iron. This iron is millions of years old, and you can see this is the pyrite and this is the fossil of pyrite. And these are, I guess, like what you're saying, how even though these are in the family of prophecy stones, they're not a prophecy stone. You know what I
they're not
mean?
a prophecy stone, right? That if there's a category to discern from where they come, because you will get variations based upon the regions. And we kind of have been generically generalizing them as prophecies, including the Moki marbles, because similarly, the Mokis come from underneath the ocean,
Right.
and it
I got a couple of Mokis too, because
right
I
in
wanted to
same way, like
and those that been following my works from the Rocks Ages day know that before there were prophecy stones, I was really up on the Moki
these
marbles.
Mokis. They are pseudomorphs by definition, same way, because the limonite coating on the surface of the Mokis have taken the form of the bubbling up from the fountain, the lava,
Hmm.
the volcanic, whatever was superheated, primarily silicone based, that bubbled up at the bottom of a sea or an ocean. And then because iron was present in that soup, in that malted soup, the iron coated the outer cover. That also
Right.
qualifies it as a pseudomorph, you
Yeah,
know?
they call these concretions also, because if you
Concretions,
were to
concrete.
bust one open, the limonite, the iron slag Naim is speaking of, is like a shell with an egg yolk of sandstone inside.
Yes,
Inside.
yes, yes. So, you know, um, there, I'm sure we will have our critics, folks who have been established in this and who write, maybe got their branding on some of these specific titles and names. You know, Lord forbid you call some Super 7 Auralite,
Hmm.
intellectual property rights. But we're looking at it the alchemically. So just because it's found in a different region, if you got double terminated crystal quartz in Morocco, we know at one point Morocco was attached to the Americas. If you find it in America, they call it Herkimer diamonds.
Right.
If you call it
They
Herkimer
look
diamond
the
from
same
Morocco,
for sure. You're
right?
right.
A lot of time it's man's interventions that create degrees of separation. More time, we're
True.
looking at how alchemically what these things represent and how they affect us
True.
physiologically, psychospiritually, all them things. And so to the point, these prophecy stones, particularly the prophecy stone unks, the ones that have come out this year, and just offering clarity of combination. The Z stone is in the top of yours and mine. What they want to call the Z stone, where they find from a rock and up there at the heights of the Sahara Desert, is limonite after pyrite. You know, it is not technically prophecy stone, but when you look at it alchemically, it's basically the same foundation. You know, it's the same foundation. Oxidized, ancient iron-rich minerals oxidizing over millions of years and then coming with this new pseudomorphic form, right? But as I'm doing the research on these things, the Z stone is a cosmic traveler, interdimensional. When I did the research, they used the word interdimensional about 5 or 6 times to express how these, what they call them Z stones, or the limonite after pyrite that comes from the Morocco, Libya area, you know, and how they create these pathways energetically between this dimension and every other dimension in the universe.
Mm.
You know, like an intentional mind, a mind of imagination can work with these prophecy stones and these Z stones and catch clear sight, foresight, hindsight. Space, the fabric of space and time seemed to dissolve in the midst of an intentional mind working with these most ancient earth relics, you know, these iron rich earth relics, these things that have formed and transformed multiple times over hundreds of millions of years. The pyrites you had in your left hand, Ross, probably took at least 150 million years to form. And then you got to give it another 150 million years to create prophecy stones.
Mm.
So that kind of crystallized mathematics, vibrational frequencies, when we're working with them and they start connecting with the DNA, because sulfur, iron, oxygen, these are all critical elements in our existence in this body avatar. We're in this classical crystal, this biological crystal we're navigating this place called Earth with is ripe and rich with these minerals.
Yeah.
So through the law of resonant affinity, you know, when you tapping into ancient iron, when you tapping into ancient sulfur, and you got it in your space and on your person, you best believe you're gonna catch visions of things that have happened before, things that have yet to happen, just based on ain't nothing new under the sun, you know?
Right. Because I just want to build on that. One of the reasons, because, right, we've been working with pseudo iron pseudomorphs for a long time.
20 years, bro.
With the prophecy stones, our journey started. No, not the prophecy stones, excuse me, the Mokis.
The Moki marbles,
Yeah,
right?
the Moki
What they call
marbles.
shaman
Knowing
stones.
like it's something about this ancient fossilized iron. And it's because from my, I guess, opinion or my vibe on it, right? Iron is the magnetic generating element, right? If you want to make something magnetic, you either gotta get some iron, align the molecules, right? And then there'll be like a man-made magnet, or get coiled copper around some iron and spin it, right? So iron is the element most associated with magnetism, right? And even though these iron pseudomorphs, they're not actually magnetic, they're not going to stick to each other like what we think of in our mind as magnets, you know what I mean? They're not going to stick to our refrigerator. They're what we what we would call paramagnetic. They don't demonstrate magnetic attraction, but they do have a subtle yet profound magnetic field. And we're the same way, right? We're not sticking to iron or sticking to metals, sticking to other magnets, but we do have a magnetic field, right? And why that's important is because in the omniverse, life force energy and information conducted through magnetic fields. Our modern technology is based on that principle, right? All the memory on your computer, it's, magnetic. If you even before the computer, like when we had audio cassettes and VHS, that was magnetic tape that, information could be stored on. So our bodies, the planet, nature, everything, that's foundation. So this is, like we said, this is some of the most ancient iron on planet Earth, right? So they got a lot of information, especially coming out of where they coming out of. Morocco and Kemet, they got a lot of information. And they also help us tap in to, I guess, what some would call Akashic record, or the information in life force mainframe of the cosmos,
The matrix, right? The Hartical matrix of creation. And on that point, brethren, we spoke about the heart. We spoke about our hearts. Our hearts give off much more profound broadcast than our brains do.
right?
And that speaks to me about my eye. Like when we pass this place, according to the ancient laws, it's not your brain that's measured. It's your heart that's measured.
Your heart that's measured, yes.
Your heart is measured, and it determines where you go next.
Yes.
Because the frequency coming off your heart is a direct reflection in how you navigate this 3 dimensions.
Can I build on that real quick?
Yeah, brother.
Just real quick. Our heart is where our iron Taurus is created, because you got blood, which is where our iron, within and without, where is this element stored in our body? It's in our blood, iron, in our hemoglobin, and our plasma. And that is circulating in a spiral right here at your heart. And so our magnetic field is centered in the heart. I just wanted to drop that in to tie it in, you know?
Absolutely, King. Hey, this is what we do. Look, we're trying to keep this to 30 minutes.
Ah,
But
where we
the
at now?
wormhole gets so deep, we already at like 33 minutes.
All right,
35.
yo.
Hey,
but I know you got some more science you researched on it.
All right. So I'm gonna
We
keep
just
it
gonna
brief,
go
King.
with this flow, man. Hey,
Let it
you
flow.
know?
Just let it flow.
Let it
Hey,
flow,
look.
bro.
So within the research, we see, right? Once our heart is in a certain order, you know, once our heart is in a certain order, we get access to certain ones, ascended masters. It's almost like they can hear our podcast. They can hear our frequency becomes more pronounced amongst the angels, amongst the elevated masters, amongst our ancestors. You know, when we're doing a heartical work, you know, that caring is sharing, that I am my brother's keeper. You know, if I got it, you got it. You know, I am because we are. This is all expressions of Ma'at. You know, I'm not living a life to serve myself. I'm operating outside of the limitations of my ego. I understand that my greatest potential is making sure everybody else is good around me, you know, who's in tune to this cosmology of, right, I am because we are.
And so you're saying that's what the prophecy stones get our heart frequency to?
This is what I'm saying. The prophecy stones, because of their ancient iron matrix, and because they are so ancient, you know, the combination, the prophecy stones and the Z stones, when they specifically speak about the Z stones, they talking about astral travel like nobody's business.
Huh.
Astral travel, being able to tap into the different spaces and time, being able to, right, pierce the veil of space and time instantly, being able to traverse the omniverse in an instant, you know, just based on the anciency and the frequency emanating from this mineral.
Well, no, now, brethren, you had dropped some science on me about prophecy stones as and these Z stones, these iron pseudomorphs, as the key to healing timelines.
Yes.
You remember that reason? You got to hit.
I do. All right. All right. So timelines, and especially the timelines that we're currently on. And this is why these prophecy stones are so critical, bro.
I feel so too. That's
points.
why I'm glad you dropping this, because this is what I experienced with them. Yes.
That the concept of death, you know, dependent upon the orientation of the individual experiencing what we call death. In the Western world, we're encouraged that like death is somewhat of an absolute, you know. And in the indigenous world, that was so far from common cognition. Most folks didn't understand what we call the transition from your fleshly form as an absolute, you know. So this is why in the Nile Valley we see that death was not so commonly spoken of. We understood life and we understood the afterlife, you know. And so what I've experienced with prophecy stones and these Z stones, working with them in tandem, is a clear visionary, experiential, not just visions, but experiential reawakening of time beyond time, whether it was times previous or things yet to come, you know. And again, as I dive into the research, right, because there is nothing new under the sun. If we're thinking about celestial cycles, you know, the great year is a 26,000 year calendar. How many times does a 26,000 year calendar fit into a million year cipher? You know, if these stones took 6 million years, 3, 4, 5 million years to form, how many great years have come and gone? You know, how much information and energy that has impacted planet Earth has been coded into these ancient earth relics, you know, and because they are iron rich, and iron is such a critical part of existing on earth as a, what they call us, we're mobile, we're crystallized, but we can move around, we're static, we're not stuck in a bedrock. You know what I'm saying? Our crystalline structure allows us to move, gives us free will, you know, and discernment and intention. And, you know, this is where Ma'at comes in. What do you do with the length of rope that you've been given with this life? You know, what are you doing with it? How are you impacting the cosmic fabric? You know, the primordial fabric of creation. How are you, what deposits are you making in the Akashic records with the chance that with this blessed opportunity you've been given, what you call your life, you know? And so me working with these things, man, the combination that we've blessed you with, you know, the Z stone with the prophecy stone under my pillow, Ross, Ben, I've been experiencing lifetimes upon lifetimes. I've been in buildings and spaces and different places where it's so familiar. I know I've lived there. I've studied every nook and cranny, and I'd be so immersed. I'm thinking that I'm just in the house that I live in now. And that house that I live in now don't have all these different spaces and all these different things. So, you know, I'm experiencing it real time, resting with prophecy stone, crystal synergy ankh under my pillow. Prophecy slash Z stone. The Z stone is in the top of yours. Prophecy stone is in the handle. And the way they synchronize, because the prophecy stones are very grounding. The Z stones are all about astral travel, interdimensional connectivity in an instant. With an intentional mind, with a meditative mind, literally having access to traverse the omniverse in an instant, you know? They encourage us to visualize sacred geometry, particularly the Merkaba, which most folks will visualize as a Star of David, two interlocking tetrahedrons. When you're resting and working or meditating with prophecy stones, you know, or Z stones, once you get breathing right, you focus your mind on sacred mathematics. My experience, and because look, I'm not even that in tune, Ross. Like I'm in tune on certain levels, but you know, you the water sign, man. You're a lot more fluid with your attunement than I. It takes me a little longer to concentrate, meditate, and to just calm my rabbit mind. And I am a rabbit, you know. I learned a lot from you, just as far as technique wise, how to just kind of get into frames of mind where you can get into the imagination. You can
True.
be actively full will, full contents, and your imagination like anything is possible, you know.
Yes.
And that's another interesting thing about the prophecy stones and the Z stones. That combination of heaven and earth, or earth and water, you know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I did just want to seal your thoughts by saying I think that's why they got the name Prophecy Stones. Their relationship to timelines. And I would also say from my experience of working with them, they do help us heal our timelines and get on the proper, what we say, redemptive timeline, you know? That's a part of it. And that's important in these times because we know time itself is being manipulated, you know? Who's on their original Enochian prophetic timeline, you know? And yeah, that's some of the deeper dimensions
We're gonna have
included
to
in
do more than
working.
one episode on these prophecy stones, you know.
We're gonna loop it forward, yeah, man. But on that
Yeah.
note, we are gonna seal it because we don't want these. We want these
Short and sweet.
sessions short and sweet. That's our intention. But you know, the prophecy zones are such a unique and special stone. It took a little more to get in, you know, a little more time to get into
True.
it proper.
Hey, we only scratched the surface, bro. We could be on here two,
Did
3 hours reasoning on these things,
we
King.
sure could. We sure could.
Yeah, man. But I think we give them enough, and then we'll deal with the comments and the feedback as they come in, and then that'll give us a little more structure to give folks more of what they
Absolutely.
want.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
On that note, much love, everyone.
More
Yes,
love, my brother. Hey, you know how we do, right?
what?
Steady on your good works, King.
Steady on your good works. Yes, I.
Yes, I. The
Give
people
thanks.
deserve nothing less, you know?
All right.
Yeah.
I'm slow. I'm slower, but I am steady.
Hey,
All right.
Ecomouse got a tune. I'm slow, but I am sure. I am slow. You ever hear that one there?
No.
But I am sure.
All right. Give thanks. Yes, I.
Yes, I.
Respect.
All right, brother. Bless up.